Welcome to my final video for Stamp Anything.
Hi everyone, my name is Brennan and welcome to
Brennan's Crafty Corner.
Hey everyone, my name is Brennan, design team member for Stamp Anything, and as you already can probably tell, this is my very last video for Stamp Anything. I've been on this design team for well over a year and a half, and it has been nothing but amazing. The other design team members are so talented, and I love seeing their work. And Kevin and Annie, the marketing director and owner respectively, are just so kind and understanding in literally every positive adjective there is, and it has been so great to work with them all. But I did make the decision a couple of weeks ago to leave the design team, decided that February would be my final month, and this is my very last post. So without further ado, let's get into this video and see the card that kind of pays homage to the very first two design team projects I did for Stamp Anything.
So, since this is my last video for Stamp Anything, I thought it was only fitting to go back to the start and look at the very first cards I made for them. These are interesting. They're floral, and I love floral, but I can kind of have a good laugh when I look back at these because, well, let's be honest here, what are these backgrounds? Like, what was I? I think I was trying to be artistic. I was trying to be, I don't know what I was trying to do, but especially this green background. There's probably like brown up here. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I tried my best on these. I really did. But I will forever keep these. These have a very special place in my heart because these were the first design team projects I ever did for any design team. So I will always keep these, and I have a couple of special cards that I've always kept with a couple of milestones. So these will go back in that draw. But for today, since we started with Annie's Garden, we have to finish it with Annie's Garden. So today, I am going to be using my favorite Poppy stamp set. I have used this stamp set a bunch, and that I think is evident by the fact that this is stained. Today, we're going to do a nice, clean, and simple card with this Poppy stamp set to finish it all off. So before we even get to coloring, I stamped this out in some Memento ink, but I want to kind of crop it. I want it to just be an oval, so I'm going to go in here with this oval die and cut out a portion of the flower that I want. Now, with just some residual ink that's on my blue ink blending brush, I'm going to go around the edges and add a little bit of blue to them. I'm going to have it fade into the white towards the center, and I'm not using a heavy hand here. And I accidentally go over that petal, but it will be fine, I promise. Just adds a little touch to the flower. And now I'm going to start coloring, and I'm going to be using RV17, 09, 06, and 04. So I'm going to start with that RV17 and just go along the edges of the petals. This is kind of like my shadow layer, so it's going to be the darkest, and since it's like that shadow and not the true color, I don't want to do too much of it, because, like I said, it's like the darkest version and not the true color of the flower. It's just wherever the sunlight's not really hitting the best on this flower. So I'm just going to continue that on those final petals, and then I'm going to go in with some RV09. This is my midtone, or one of my two midtones, as I'm using 4 colors, and it's closer to the true color. I always think is like the second midtone as the true color, so I'm going to do a lot more of this than I did for that darkest color, because like I said, it's closer to the quote-unquote true color of the flower. So I'm just going to flick out from the RV17 with that RV09. Now I'm going to go in with RV06, and it starts to become a little more neon than I realized it was going to. Especially when I go in with that RV04 after, it becomes really neon, and it's okay. I love the color and how it comes out, but wasn't expecting it. This is what I'm calling my true floral color. So this is where the sun is hitting it perfectly, and this is like the actual color of the flower without any shadows or any like highlights. So this is going to take up the most area on the petals. And then lastly, I'm going to go in with that RV04, and I'm just going to fill in any remaining space on these petals. And like I said, this is kind of where you're seeing that neon come to be. Was not expecting that, but here we are. It is okay. It is okay because I do really like how these come out. Would these poppies be found in nature? Probably not, but that is okay because on my card, that's where they could be found. These neon pink poppies. But yeah, I really do like this color combo. And now let's move on to the leaves. I'm going to be using YG17 as well as YG25. So with that darker YG17, I'm just going to go along the center of the leaves to create a darker spot, and then I'm just going to do the stems in the darker color because I did not want to shade those because they're just a very small area and that would not be fun, so I didn't want to do it. But I'm just creating a dark area on those leaves. Then I'm going in with that YG25 and creating our lighter areas on the edges, and I'm just working from the middle to the outside just to make sure the two different marker colors blend well. And that's all of our, almost all of our leaves. I still have to do that bottom one. But yeah, I'm just going to keep doing that until I'm done with the leaves from the center outwards.
All of the coloring is done and we have this beautiful pink poppy. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this piece of clover cardstock from Concord and Ninth and I'm going to put the floral on it. I don't actually want to center it because I do want to put a sentiment on the bottom, so I'm probably going to put it a little bit more up than perfectly center. But before I do any of that and glue it to a card base, I do want to add a little bit more interest to this background because green's great on its own, but I think just adding a little bit more to it, and it will still all be green, but using the Fred pattern stencil, I think we'll just add the tiniest bit more interest to our card. So I have my green ink blending brush here, and I'm just going to take whatever residual ink is on it and just blend it through this stencil, not really taking into account anything, just moving the brush over the paper and ensuring I get all these triangles with a little bit of that residual ink. And we're going to reveal. And there we go. So now we just have a little bit more interest to that background. And what I'm actually going to do now is, we're almost done with this background, I promise. But I'm just going to now go around the edges and deepen that up a little bit with, once again, whatever residual ink I have left on here. It's not going to do much, and you can barely see it on camera, but in real life, it's doing something, I promise. Okay, so our ink blending is done, which means our background is done. So now I'm just gonna make sure I still want that up there. And yeah, I definitely want that up more towards the top than in the center. So I'm just going to pop this up with a little bit of foam tape now. Foam tape is on, and now I'm just gonna hold my breath, honestly. Okay, you know what? That is actually really good for me. I'll take it. I will take it. So now our last thing to do to finish this card before we put it on a card base is to just add a sentiment. And I'm going to go with that just a note sentiment because I really, really like it. I've always loved the sentiment. I've used it on a bunch of cards with the poppy and without the poppy, so I'm going to go with it. So I'm going to go in with some VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink, and I'm just going to give this a nice and good stamping. Might have to do this twice because this ink pad is starting to dry out. I have the refill. I don't know why I haven't used it. And here we go, stamping that. And I think it looks good. Yes, liking that. And to finish the card with a revolutionary, never done before, can never be recreated step, I added it to a card base. So here is my final card for Stamp Anything. I just have to put this next to my two first cards I did. Just, yeah. These two will always hold a special place in my heart. They're just, it was the first, started all off on design teams. Really kicked off all my designing I've done, so really like a milestone for me. And this card, I really like how it came out. I really like how well that pink works with the greens. But yeah, that's my final card. And that's a wrap. We're in the outro now, and I am done. I kind of can't believe that. But I just want to take this time now to say thank you to Kevin and Annie, as you guys made my dream of being on a design team possible. I had wanted that for so long, and you guys are the ones that made that come true by asking me. And this experience has been so amazing, and I would not trade it up for literally anything. So thank you guys so much for this opportunity. It's been so great. Thank you guys. And for the final time as a Stamp Anything design team member, I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye! Happy crafting!